I got an email about this. Also, I've seen a bunch of recommendations. Why is Bhutan building the anti-Dubai?
It's about their GDP. Bhutan measures a much more important index. It's gross national happiness. The GNH was invented by Bhutan's fourth king in the 1970s and aims to measure the country's development holistically. It's taken so seriously that it's even written into the constitution.
Unlike GDP, GNH values happiness and well-being of the people above economic growth. It focuses on the preservation of environment.
What makes this city so special? Well, take a look around. There's not a skyscraper in sight, and you're much more likely to see an elephant crossing a stream than a Lamborghini tearing up the strip.
CG.
That's because this isn't a get-rich-quick scheme. This is modern economic development, Bhutan style.
These monumental structures are not just ways to cross the river, but key focal points of the city.
I don't know if I'm going to learn very much from this. Is this AI or is it CGI? I can't tell anymore. Who the f knows?
Bridge houses a temple, giving passers-by an insight into the lives of resident monks. Another has a medical center with doctors practicing both Western and traditional Bhutanese medicine.
I don't know if this means anything to me, to be honest.
Will not even realize that the airport is built over that river, over their homes.
But they also have a really important structural function. Airports need to grow in line with demand, and the structures here are all modular, allowing them to be disassembled and added to as more space or facilities are needed.
Okay, I don't buy this at all. I don't know if it reflects at all on what the actual design plans are, but the way this is being presented in the video makes it sound like it is for people who think they're smarter than Silicon Valley tech guys, but actually aren't. Like, it's meant to appeal to the exact same, well, if I could run a city, everything would be better interest. The world is actually simple. What if you made your buildings modular? But, like, don't think about it, you know? What if everything was like Lego? I don't know if that's just the video and how it's being presented, or if it's sort of built into the actual planned city or whatever. I don't know. That's B1M's entire catalog. I don't know. Watch the video and don't skip. But it seems like it's a puff piece for a thing that doesn't exist yet, based on 3D scans and a poor understanding of design philosophy. I don't like, what would I critique? There's nothing like real to critique, you know?
Imagine a place walk across its face is a hydroelectric dam. Now, this is
like, what am I supposed to critique here? It's a fantasy world. We're looking at Avatar, you know? Like, what am I supposed to critique here?
Not your average dam. Inspired by India's ancient stepwells, its facade is lined with bold triangular terraces that invite people to walk across its face.
Really?
At its heart is something truly extraordinary. A temple, perched right in the center of the structure, gazing out across the valley.
Like, it's just, yeah, okay. It's not
story's tool, and that's all in an effort to...
I also really do hate the Orientalist perspective that there's some kind of like innate tribal connect to nature noble savagery going on in Buddhist countries, as if Buddhists haven't done their own genocides, you know. And you look at these, and what you're worshiping is like the aesthetic, like a white woman who gets into yoga, you know, like you like the appearance of these things. Functionally, all people in all countries are the same. You have the exact same internal struggles. You have the exact same materialist, you know, or material forces competing. You have the same dialectical struggles. You have the same struggles for ethnic supremacy, for, you know, racial or like between the sexes. But so looking at this, okay, like let me try to, like, from my perspective, okay, do you have any idea how much work it takes to weave a rug like this? Any idea at all? Do you have any idea how long it takes to make those? And those are big ones too. An unbelievable amount. Now a machine can make something not of the same quality, but approximating it much faster. But the reason why these are up here in this, you know, CG render or whatever is because this is meant to be like a celebration and veneration of a specific style. Like, these aren't serving the practical function of a roof, right? These aren't keeping out rain. These aren't good for the wind. These don't do anything except look nice and provide a bit of shade. They're there for the aesthetic. But the aesthetic relies on the belief that they're hand-woven. Because otherwise, like, we could plaster cheap crap rugs everywhere in America if we wanted to, couldn't we? Like, we have the productive capabilities and the wealth to do that if we wanted to. Why don't we? Well, because they don't make for good roofs. It's just such a condescending, it's just such a, like, the only thing we know about you is you're Buddhist and therefore you're like one with nature, with no respect or recognition for any of the actual work that goes into maintaining these kinds of societies. We don't know if it's made by machines. If it was made by machines, there would be no point in it being there. It exists only to capture an Orientalist fantasy about the lifestyles of these people. But there's an incongruity here, okay? You know where you can find places that look like this in the world? Tourist attractions. In reality, for the most part, rugs are used as home decorations or, you know, as rugs. The idea of plastering a place to the extent that you have an entire market covered with them, this is something you would do to get Western tourist dollars, okay?
And that's all in an effort to reduce the amount of carbon-intensive materials like steel and concrete that the country uses.
And that's not all. The idea of building in harmony with nature even extends to...
Who paid for this? Full story here, and it's on your website. Where did you get these 3D renders from? Did you make them? Who paid you for this?
And spiritual values. For us Bhutanese, it is not just a policy, it is a way of life. We grow up believing that the purpose of life is not just to succeed, but to be kind, mindful.
You know, okay, here's a racism check. Would you believe this about an entire country if one white man from that country told you this? If you saw a video of an American saying, in our country, we don't just believe to succeed, we also believe to be kind. Would you believe, like, you'd go, oh, okay, I guess they're, it's literally Thing Japan. You see, by murdering that person, you've violated the sacred Japanese tradition of anwe, or to live, which is very important to them. You know, he's wearing a quarter zip lamau. Yeah, he's wearing a quarter zip and a sheet that he's like, who is this guy? I guarantee you this guy is a resort owner. Fuck, you're probably right.
Hi everyone, I'm from Jamyanglodin Diaries, and today I would like to take you on a...
From a monastery, interesting. Well, he's got an online presence. He likes that quarter zip. Sacred adventure gone wrong? Surprised emoji? I don't see anything necessarily wrong here. It seems like he's just living his life as a monk. Okay, that seems fine. I thought I would Google his name and he would be like, yeah, a resort owner or a private investor or something. That's fine. You know, he's chilling. Surprising amount of watch collection. Hey, we were talking about that. Can Buddhist monks have watch collections? I don't know. Whatever. I'm not one to say. Hot pepper challenge. Can I handle the heat? All right, I like this guy. I like this guy. Bhutan's king Jigme Khesar Namgyal Wangchuk has announced an ambitious plan, the creation of a mindfulness city, a vast new urban project. Okay, how can this be the anti-Dubai if it's also a top-down project made by an authoritarian leader that so far exists only in 3D imaging? Is that not extremely Dubai coded? That's every single thing a Gulf state does. It's all these Gulf state vanity projects where the dear leader says to increase Western tourism dollars, we're going to build X, and then they don't. Sorry, I'm being very cynical. It's just, okay, I want to lean off this guy here and more critique the video, I guess. I just thought it was funny that he's in a quarter zip, but I guess legally Buddhist monks can wear quarter zips and have watches. It's not a problem to a guy like me.
The construction of this airport is getting some very important help.
His Majesty said that this is going to be number one, of course, the first infrastructure in Mobile.
But as if building an airport...
Oh wait, here's the website, it's fishy. A special administrative region in the Kingdom of Bhutan. Okay, so he got the 3D models from the project website itself. He didn't make those. Gotcha. It will be a mindfulness city encompassing conscious and sustainable business, inspired by Buddhist spiritual heritage and distinguished by the uniqueness of the Bhutanese identity. Okay. Airport construction begins on July 8th, 2025, which is, hold on, one day before this video came out. That's interesting. You broke ground on the airport one day before this video came out? It does bother me quite a bit. Maybe he says it in the video. I don't know. Maybe he does. But like, are you being paid? Which country is that in the border of? Tibet, or well, China now, I suppose, because of, you know, imperialism. How will the Mindfulness City be governed? Mindfulness City is a special administrative region. In practical, listen, I've seen this under Dengism. Special administrative region means that there are business laws exempted here. There are regulations that are exempted here. So it's really, really easy for foreigners to invest. Is this part of China? No, it's right next to China. Is the king of Bhutan bad? I mean, he's a king. I don't know anything about him. I'm generally suspicious of kings. The thing that always makes me suspicious is like, no, dude, you're not going to build anything that looks like this. Nothing looks like this. Like, why do you think I'm stupid? You know, come on. The only shit that looks like this are things you find in Dubai, and the reason they look that way is because they were built by slaves and are funded by the patronage of Gulf, billionaires and Westerners going over there to, because they're attending a Smash Bros tournament that got funded by Saudi Arabia or something. You know what I mean? Like stop jerking me around. Nothing looks like this, okay? You can build a really cool sustainable city, but we kind of know what those look like. Like we know what development in that area looks like. That's a big flood zone. In Bhutan? I don't know. Aren't we like 10,000 feet above sea level or something? I mean, maybe. This land was stolen from a people they ethnically cleansed. Okay, to be fair, the same could be said for America. So I don't know. I think they know it wouldn't look like that. This is just a concept. Yeah, but that's stupid and bullshit. Why? Like, this is the Gulf State Vanity Project playbook. Why would you, if you're building a cool, like, new mindfulness city, why make a bunch of fake like, why spend the money? Why outsource the 3D imaging and spend $2 million to make it look beautiful in theory when because it's not going to look like this at all. It's just a concept. Yeah, but it's an unrealistic concept. It's not going to happen. I hate the way Westerners treat Buddhists, man. Buddhists have a bloody history. Same with there's no religion that just naturally makes you chill. Religion's just violent? Well, people are violent, and religion helps people justify it. This is to suck money from Westerners? I mean, to be fair, we deserve it. And also, I'm sure whatever they end up building will be pretty. I don't know. Yeah. So I'm looking at the king. The Saudis have scaled back the line to being 1/10 their original plans. Also, just keep in mind, Saudi Arabia has an ungodly amount of money, right? Bhutan probably doesn't. So, Saudi Arabia is better positioned to realize their ridiculous 3D renderite goals. Bhutan does not have money. I guess it would be nice if somebody tried to build a new city and it wasn't total bullshit. Like if they were like, no, we're not shitting you, we're building a new city, it's going to be great, and then they built a new city. But it never goes that way. From Brasilia to the planned new capital of Cairo to anything the Gulf states do, it's always just an authoritarian leader going, what if we like enshrined my glory on earth forever, so after my passing all will remember me? What if we built like a city that's cool in a way I think is cool? Here's my ideas for a city, Hello, I am from Israel, and here is my I'm an city planner from Israel, and here's my mega city. I just like Bhutan does not have the GDP per capita to sustain environments where you have like beautiful hand-carved wooden ceilings terraced 40 feet above a gorgeous, perfectly clean wooden floor, and there's like one guy sitting under it just passively. What are some examples of nice cities? Unironically, there are a bunch of cities in the Netherlands that I think you could argue are basically like, in concept, perfectly sustainable and well developed for happiness and for mindfulness if you prefer that. They weren't constructed to be carbon neutral or whatever, but neither will this be. This place is having a airport, okay? But yeah, like you can probably find like 20 cities in the Netherlands that meet that pretty well. And I'm not saying that's the only way to do it. I'm just saying a lot of those cities are kind of meet the goals, Have you been to the Netherlands? No, I haven't. I've seen videos. Dutch food is great. Well, that I don't believe. Ancient future where tradition meets innovation. Are they 3D printing the like hand-carved building trim? That's more realistic than pretending that sculptors are going to work on all of it. The weird thing is though that Bhutan, like countries like Bhutan, which is very poor, right? Like you would think if anything, like labor is very cheap there. That's the problem with building here in the United States, Labor is extremely expensive here and in places like Western Europe. But over in Bhutan, I imagine that, I'm not saying they use slaves or anything. I'm saying that like, you don't have to pay workers very much for them to live. Vaush be like, European country can't cook. Don't get defensive, okay? Everyone knows people by the Mediterranean can cook. No, nobody thinks of Northern Europeans as being good cooks. Now, whether or not the Netherlands is Northern Europe depends on who you ask. In my opinion, the Netherlands and the northern half of Germany count. The southern half of Germany gets a pass. Vaush has never tried frikandel and bitterballen. You're right. Do you have any idea how unappetizing those sound? Like just off the tongue? Got a little sick just saying it. Bitterballen? Now I know what poop and farten sounds like, okay? But you have to understand that you're being racist right now, okay? It has nothing to do with that. It's an ancient traditional dish. Does it help if I translate it? It means bitter balls. Really? Bitterballen means bitter balls? Thank you. I appreciate it. Because of the tremendous gulf in our languages, which have no common root, I wasn't able to figure that out. Can I find... I need to round this off. Can I find like a single video of this that isn't 3D? Like, are there any videos of people working? Oh my God, there's a 60-minute segment.
It sounds like something out of a Bob Seldorji, who once worked at the UN, was a teen and landed at an airport in India.
I know that guy.
For 21 days, thousands of Bhutanese are praying at this ceremony for the well-being, peace and prosperity of anyone involved with the Gelaphu Mindfulness City, or GMC. Bhutan is staking its future viability on a mega project designating 2,500 square kilometers of land on the border with India a special administrative region.
We are trying to offer one of the greenest places, one of the cleanest, safest places to land. All investment and partners will be on invitation, and we can afford to be choosy here because we are not up against any time frame. This is for next generational project.
The government is upgrading
Don't you need funding?
essential infrastructure, including this border crossing, and there'll be a new international airport.
On the Indian side of the border, there's no apparent upgrading work going on, and most of the materials and labour to construct the Mindfulness City will need to come through here. But the Indian government says it's fast-tracking a cross-border railway that will link Assam state to Bhutan.
Indian cooperation will be essential for landlocked Bhutan's utopian vision for the GMC. A promotional video envisages a series of timber bridges linking communities,
3D,
creating
3D.
a low-rise
You have to
metropolis,
say that.
all powered by hydroelectricity. A 21-year project
You
based...
know that meme where people are like, dude, if Thomas Jefferson was alive today, he would be a post-Keynesian. No, if Thomas Jefferson was alive today, he would be an ethno-nationalist. He would see what the blacks have done to this country. Thomas Jefferson, if he was alive today, I'm quite fond of Sayori from Doki Doki Literature Club. I feel that's how I feel whenever I think of like people talking about Buddhists, where over in the West, they're like, well, yeah, the Buddhists live a life of like peaceful, quiet, and meditative tranquility. And then you go over there and you're like, hello, Mr. Buddhist man, what would you like? And they're like, I love Garfield. Do you have a phone? Do you have games on your phone? Like, people are all the same everywhere is the problem. I wish that we create these distances. Like, no one's creating the city of mindfulness. It's a marketing tactic.
Based on the country's Buddhist culture and its emphasis on happiness, well-being and mindfulness.
We've got to grow our economy. We've got to think outside the box. But we've got to ensure that we are faithful to our values and ideals, and especially the principles of gross national happiness.
Our family friend who's a Buddhist monk is addicted to gacha games. That is so funny. What would Siddhartha have thought of gacha games? That shit, those probably would have gotten their own chapter in the New Testament. Honestly, I feel like it's a good thing we only came up with them recently. People would not have built the pyramids if gacha games had been around back in whatever the BC.
And in this endeavor, it is His Majesty the King who has started the Gelaphu Mindfulness City.
Gelaphu's residents seem to need the GMC to transform themselves. Only 43% say they're happy, according to the country's last gross national happiness survey.
We have...
Why, isn't it crazy how once you get away from the marketing, you see a group of like Bhutanese people at the market, and it's just like, oh, they're just normal people at the grocery store. Because everyone's basically the same everywhere on Earth, no matter what. Your life is more similar to that of a working class Bhutanese Buddhist than it is to a like wealthy stock trader in America.
Pin great hopes and prayers that GMC will benefit not only us who are living in Gelaphu, but our entire nation.
The international airport alone will bring so much economic development to our country, not to mention the high-quality infrastructure and roads and bridges.
The GMC took over this project in mid-construction. Originally designed as a regional administrative centre, building work stopped for 23 months while planners repurposed it. In 12 months, it should finally open as the GMC's headquarters. Bernard Smith, Al Jazeera, Gelaphu, Bhutan.
Okay, I don't know. Mostly this was just me fact-finding, but I do appreciate the opportunity to do a little materialist, like, well, we're all the same, actually. You know what I mean, right? How's the Line City going? Not well, and Saudi Arabia is much wealthier than Bhutan. Did you know Buddhists don't read the New Testament? Yeah, I did know that. Did you know that I was just talking about spiritual movements from antiquity in general? Or did you think that I thought that the New Testament was a Buddhist text? Then I mentioned the pyramids, which were before the New Testament. Do you understand? I was kind of casting a broad net there. If you can't keep up, that's fine. I'm just saying, don't get angry at the person at the front of the running pack because you thought we were all supposed to be keeping the same pace. We're all the same. Christians don't read the New Testament. Buddhists don't read the New Testament. That's true. That's true, probably. I don't know. Type shit. What do you think of this? Tech Bros Invented Trains? I can't watch an Adam Something video because he's based, so I would just be watching it and go like, Like, I can watch somebody else's video if there's something to critique, but if it's just me agreeing with them, then all I really have to say is He's too based for me to watch, unless I'm taking a shit, which I try not to when I'm streaming, because it's my job.